All right, folks. Let's try this for the third time. I don't know why I just held up three fingers. uh, I tell you, that 115 proof got me big time. But this little moonshine bottle wasn't bad at all. I got another bottle downstairs in the cabinet. I just never opened that bitch. I think it's like peaches or something. But who doesn't like cherries, right? Ole Smoky. Ugh. So last week, I took a video of it. I don't know if I'm going to end up posting that video or not, but we had the electricians come in and they had what they called a witch digger. It's this electronic chainsaw basically that cuts a straight line into your grass and whatnot. That way they can dig out the cables, whether it's the meter cable or if it's like the uh, power cable to. They end up cutting the gas cable to the fireplace. So they end up cutting that for the meter, or if you have internet TV cable, they have a cable for that, and it's all buried. And the video was like a minute long. All I did was kind of film this little chainsaw witch digger, they call it, dig into the dirt and whatnot. But they doubled the amperes in our house from 100, which is standard for every house, to 200. So maybe now if I run the toaster, the air fryer, and the microwave all simultaneously, maybe now we won't have a short circuit and have to go downstairs and mess with the damn box, right? So, hey, what's up, buddy? Do I need a new router? Well, shoot, I think my wife's had that router for a million years, but I don't know. Like, I mean, I've never really done live streams before until like on a consistent basis until like 3, 4, or 5 months ago. Whenever I started this process on a weekly basis, and it's not like every single live stream is interrupted, but lately a good chunk of them are, and it's very frustrating because I want one live stream that's 3 hours long. I don't want three live streams where one is 20 minutes, one is an hour and a half, and maybe another one is another hour or whatever. So this is really frustrating. But if I was using the actual desktop computer, right? If I was actually using a desktop, yeah, this probably wouldn't be an issue. But I don't have speakers. If I do have speakers, I just don't know how to set it up to that damn machine. It's a pain in the ass trying to figure it out. So I use the laptop, and I figured coming up to the office, being right next to the machine, I would have perfect Wi-Fi. But we used to have. I keep calling it Time Warner. It's not Time Warner. It's Spectrum, which I think is the same thing. But really didn't have an issue with internet going in and out the way it does. When we moved to AT&T, we moved to AT&T because the GBPS, whatever it was, I forget, the speed of the internet was supposed to be like 2 times, even 3 times as fast. And my wife, who plays her World of Warcraft on her computer, that was very enticing to her. And the offer that we got for cable, home phone, and the internet, I think was the same or maybe even a little bit cheaper than what Spectrum had. So, but I really don't see any difference or improvement in the internet. And I'd rather have Spectrum and have the actual DVR box than this new setup, which is so freaking annoying. So, like we pay for cable, we probably pay a couple $100 a month for cable, which we never use because we have all these streaming services. But I don't know if it's that expensive, but it definitely feels like it could be, at least for everything. I mean, it was easy to use the DVR box with Time Warner slash Spectrum. But this new, using the app to track down your TV guide and all that is so fucking, excuse me, that's so freaking annoying and frustrating to me that that's why I don't. That's why every single day, whenever I watch TV, my TV watching means I'm watching YouTube videos. I don't even watch regular cable anymore. I can't even remember the last time I saw an episode of Law and Order SVU. Chicago Fire and PD and Med and all that. I can't remember the last time I saw that, 911, etc. So it's probably been 2+ years, maybe even 3, since I watched any of these series, because I just lost my interest of watching movies and TV shows. It used to be my passion, but I mean, watching a YouTube video just feels like more easy viewing, more enjoyment a lot of times. So generally, I would not recommend the AT&T dish, even though they don't put up a dish. Everything is through apps now. But yeah, if you freeze on different computers, then maybe it's the router. Yes, I only use this one laptop generally. I don't really switch up. I could go back to my Google Chromebook, but the Chromebook is a little bit smaller, so I don't know if it's going to have the same background reach or whatnot. But I could try that next week, see if that makes a difference. My wife upgraded her gaming computer, so I mean, there's a larger gaming type laptop available that I could start using if necessary. Old laptop, not this one. I mean, this one is I probably got this one a year ago, maybe year and a half. I don't know. I think I wanted more space on my computer because my Google Chromebook was so small, and like I could only have like 3 or 4 gigabytes of space on that computer. And I think other laptops used to have like 350 gigabytes. So like, how do you go from like 350 gigabytes on this laptop to like 4 gigabytes on this laptop? So you can't really put videos onto that laptop. But since then, I mean, I don't even film on my laptop anymore. I normally film on my cell phone. Occasionally, I might use the computer, but there was that. It was also about YouTube. A lot of my videos, it comes with the Chromebook. It was coming in very grainy. At least on my TV, that's what it looked like. It looked very grainy, like lighting wasn't good, or just it wasn't crystal clear. It wasn't that high definition, high quality, Hollywood style, viewing that you would get. So I thought maybe upgrading to a new computer, new laptop, maybe that would make the videos look better. But even the new laptop's having the same issue. And oh god, my wife, she bought me this beautiful, expensive camera, and I filmed a few videos with that camera, but you got to take out the SIM card every time if you want to upload it to the laptop. That's annoying, but the quality was supposed to be like that of Hollywood, directors and producers, man. That thing was supposed to be jumping out of screen at you. And I filmed a couple of videos with that thing, and the picture quality was such horseshit. Like I even had to call myself out in my own videos in the comment section, like, "Hey, this picture quality sucks." Yeah, there was one I did with the Zombie Sailors review for wasn't Men of the Mission. Jesus Christ, why am I forgetting the damn tag team? Wasn't the Dudley Boys? The guys in purple, man. Forgetting their damn names, but unimportant. I filmed a really good video on that camera, and I couldn't use it. I uploaded the video the next day at 9 a.m. I went to watch the video. I watched like a minute or two of it. I'm like, this is horseshit. Generally, I don't like deleting my videos because that to me is time wasted. You're never going to say the second time what you said the first time, but I want people, first time viewers, to see that video and want to want to subscribe to the channel. If that's the sort of quality pictures that you're going to give, then they're going to have no inspiration to even watch your video to completion or to subscribe to your channel. So I'm like, no, forget that. I need to redo this video big time. So what do I do with that camera now? Now it also has like this super big lens on that you kind of screw on to the front. I was using that. Maybe if I remove that big lens, maybe the picture quality would be beautiful. I don't know. But because the quality was so terrible, I made a couple eBay videos with that thing and I just didn't like it. So sometimes you just got to kind of stick with what works. Ugh. 8 years old, want to upgrade to Windows 11, so I'm finally going to replace it this year. Shoot, man. One laptop that I had, I bought in, I want to say February of 2011. I bought that laptop when I was in Afghanistan, when I was in Bagram. This is when I was working for Lockheed Martin. I just started, not like, I'm sorry, with Mantech. Started with Mantech in January of 2011. And I remember going to the darn PX that day, spent like shelling out like $800 for a laptop. I had to buy like a new book bag for carrying case for the laptop, obviously. And that big tactical book bag I bought, that was like $60. Bought like a 500 gigabyte hard drive. I mean, that was probably like $50. Actually, that book bag might have been even more expensive. That might have been over $100. But I had just arrived to Afghanistan, and one of my colleagues, he took me to the PX to start buying all the stuff that I was going to need: the book bag, the laptop, and the hard drive. But I'm like, dude, I haven't been here for months and months. Okay, I left Kuwait, and since I've been home waiting for this job to start up. I was home for 6 weeks with no income. Okay, so any money I made in Kuwait was long gone, and just arriving to Afghanistan, having to shell out over $1,000 all at one time. I mean, like the more stuff you kind of put in the car, my eyes kept getting bigger and bigger. Like, oh my god, what are you doing? Like maybe in a month or two, I can afford to shell out the sort of money for this stuff, but you're asking me to pay for this up front when I just arrived, hadn't really gotten paid yet. But I had that computer all the way until about last year, and I think my wife shipped it out to somebody or sold it to somebody. I don't know. Or maybe it was earlier this year. Shoot. But I had that thing forever. The only reason I stopped using it is because, like, when you take the laptop, top part, and you close it and you open it back up, those little plastic pieces that like right in this area of the computer, when you open and close it, it wasn't closing right on top of each other, right? And it kept having this little creak, like it was going to break off eventually. When you keep going back and forth, like you do with the pop can lid. And you take the pop can lid and it's aluminum. You keep going back and forth. Eventually, that thing's going to break off, right? So I kind of looked at over time, with enough time, the laptop was going to act in the same way. So that's why I kind of upgraded to a different computer. Can watch all those on streaming. Which one are we watching on streaming? After I replace the roof. Damn, they're coming at you too for that. The guys just kind of knocked on our door last week. Like, yeah, we can give you a free roof inspection. Take pictures of where all of the ice hail hit, and try and get your insurance to kind of pay for it. But like, I mean, to my knowledge, we're not having leaks or anything bad like that. So, do I need to shell out more money now to pay for freaking a new roof? Some of these guys are operating together because it's funny that once you pay for one thing, another guy shows up to your door one day offering to perform this type of thing and that type of thing. It's like, do they realize that hey, this guy buys the stuff and they kind of share your name with other people and another company? I'm starting to think that's exactly what's happening. It's like once you're working on one project or paying off one project, here comes another project. I know my wife wants to get the shingles redone, get a new roof, but like I care less. I think it's fine, but we'll see what happens with that. But it's kind of funny that you mentioned replacing the roof because it seems like everybody in my neighborhood now is replacing their roof. I've probably seen at least 5 or 6 houses down just in my surrounding area over the last 2 months or so, 3 months, replace their roof. I'm like, that's crazy. I want to get rid of cable because I want to save some of that money. I never use it anymore. But at the same time, I want it there in case I do want to jump on TV, live TV one day. And if I don't have access to that stuff, it's gonna be like, well, because your streaming services like Hulu and Netflix and HBO Max and all that stuff doesn't always hold all the movies that you want. So maybe you can find that stuff or TV shows. Maybe you can find that stuff on like if I want to watch something from the CW, maybe there's a CW app or something you can download to watch that stuff. I don't know. I just I'm not into CW. I'm done with. I mean, after they mass canceled a bunch of series to air original programming to air uh, real life storytelling instead of scripted storytelling, I'm like, man, nobody wants that crap. So you want to create all of these reality shows? Fine. You think CW struggled before Nexstar purchased them? They're going to struggle even more nowadays because all the shows that made the channel worth watching are gone. So all right, wrestling figures related finally. Got my Big Rubber Guys Legion of Doom shipped from my pile. Getting my first LG off eBay. Man, I hope that first LJN is a good one because if it, imagine this. I've always said my first LJN was Nikolai Volkov, right? I never had LJNs as a kid, didn't really care for them. I just kind of figured, because of the whole Netflix series that people were going to go crazy, buying this stuff up. And I wanted to be a seller. I wanted to be like, hey, this would be a good business for me. So let me buy and sell, see what I can do. Problem is, and I keep saying this all the time, you have to go to like these thrift stores that are selling this stuff for like $2. You have to go to your next door neighbor's garage sale, yard sale. You got to buy a box of these figures, 30 of them for like $30. Again, $1 a piece. That's the only way you're ever going to make money, kind of reselling or selling on eBay, Mercari, what have you. Because like if I go on eBay and I'm buying a Series 1 Hulk Hogan LJN, and let's say I win an auction, I win it for $15. That seller is probably going to charge you $10 to ship that item. You're up to $25. Now taxes, you're probably up to like $28, $30. Now, how do you make any money on that? Well, you got to resell it for at least $38, let's say. If it sells for $38, guess what? You just made yourself a $2, maybe a $3 profit. And who's going to have that sort of inventory to be able to accept a $2 profit each time? It's not going to do anything for you. But you go to that yard sale, you buy that Hulk Hogan for $1, you put him on eBay, he sells for $15. Maybe you get $10 shipping on that, $25. Okay. Out of that $25, let's say the shipping label cost you only $7. You just made $3 profit on that. Let's say out of that $15 purchase, maybe $12 comes back to you. All right, so maybe you earn $15 on that $1 purchase. That right there is good money, right? Like I could take a $15 sale, a $15 profit, but me that was never me. I don't go to these other stores. I don't go to like yard sales and estate sales and buy all the stuff for dirt cheap. Everything I buy on eBay. I pay eBay prices, or a few times Mercari. I pay Mercari prices. So whenever I list something, like if I'm listing a bundle of Hasbro figures, and these are all 12 figures from Series 3 Hasbro, these are all of the accessories. All in, if I'm purchasing those all individually, I probably could have paid a few $100s on them. Let's say $300. I'm a reseller. This is my business. This is how I acquire more inventory. I need to earn something on this. So I can't sell it for 300. I got to sell it for at least 350. And maybe out of that 350, maybe I get like 315, 320. But it saves buyers and it saves collectors a lot of time, because this way they're getting the entire series with accessories in one bundle, as opposed to having to go out to all of these different buyers or all these different sellers and purchase that stuff. So uh, it just got to be enough of a turnaround for me, I guess would be what I'm talking about. And I'm still doing it. I keep going off on these tangents, and it basically how the first question started and how I ended, nothing to do with each other. I hope they have my medical bills covered for me when I get old, like really old, because dementia is going to hit me by the time I hit age 50. Do I have any more of this in here? Nope, they're all gone. Let's give this first cherry a try. Oh God. There's no cherry juice. It's just straight moonshine. That is horrible. Okay. I mean, I would pour those into like another alcoholic drink if I wanted to have like a cherry flavor. But as far as eating those cherries individually, no. That was disgusting. So L. Let me backtrack, because Jesus Christ. I hope your first acquisition for Jane was an important one, because my first acquisition was Nikolai Volkov. If that figure wasn't as amazing as it is, I probably wouldn't have gotten into the LJNs, or at least not into them as soon as I did. Now, my first purchase was like Jimmy Snuka or Jesse Ventura. I probably would have looked at those figures and been like, "This is crap," and wouldn't have cared, and would have tried to resell it immediately. My first LJN acquisition was Nikolai Volkov. Held that figure in my hand. I'm like, the rubber is awesome. The fighting pose is awesome. The look is fantastic. I'm like, this is a freaking awesome figure. And at that moment, just holding that figure in my hand that first time, I love the LGNs just from that. So if I could go back, I mean, I would have probably started off buying the expensive figures first, because you could always find bundles of, the more common figures, and usually get them for a good price. 10 or 20 in a bundle, you could probably get for as low as $50, or you might pay up to like $350. But for the vast quantity you're getting, it's kind of evens out. So, and I know it wouldn't be your first figure because you had them as kids, but at least for adulthood. Hey, Irish, what's happening, buddy? It's me, aka Stone Cold. I still have my other channel, bro, and get rid of that douchebag that was hacking my other channel. Yeah, that sucks, man. I know there are a few people I would like to have moderators, but not saying that the people I would select would do anything crazy. Just it kind of takes away the control sometimes. So you definitely want to have control of your own channel. So I figured I wouldn't do that. Probably not. And in fact, I honestly don't even know what adding a moderator would do, or like what that purpose is. So I just kind of leave things as default settings when I have anything like any type of video that I post. I had a bad hailstorm in May. Luckily, insurance is paying for almost all of it. Yeah, I keep calling it May. Like, I think we had a hailstorm here in Louisville back in either May or June. And in my in my Hyundai Santa Fe, I had a little crack like that big in my windshield. It's a 2013. We got it back in like October 2012. To think, man, that car, 13 years later, almost 13 full years, and that car probably just hit 30,000 miles recently, which just shows you how little we drive, because there's people out there that drive 30,000 miles in a year. We drove 30,000 miles in 13 years. Crazy. We don't go anywhere. Oh man. But that little tiny ass speck over the months, that little tiny ass speck ballooned and kind of like shot out as a spider vein across the near the driver's side. And I'm like, damn, we finally got to get this thing taken care of. So uh, last week, I think, last Monday, I believe, we took the SUV into a collision center and they got it repaired. We picked it up on Thursday or last Thursday. So I thought Safe Life was supposed to like come to the house and swap out the windshield right then and there, but no, we had to go through the insurance. We had to go through the actual collision center. I mean, it wasn't really a collision, so all they're doing is swapping out the front windshield. But the guy that stopped to the house that talked to us about potentially swapping out the shingles, redoing the roof, he gave a date of like March 15th of the hailstorm. So, but I don't remember it being back in March. I think it was more around May timeframe. At least maybe that particular one. Lots of to do door-to-door roofing companies, but I had two local companies inspect my roof before making a claim. You won't miss life. Yeah, I mean, so far, like, I can't even go back and watch a lot of the shows that brought me enjoyment. I think I want to say the spring of 2023 was the end of the CW's The Flash, and I think that show came to Netflix probably like a month or two later. So right after the season ended, it was immediately available on Netflix. It took me a year or close to a year before I even watched my first episode of season 9. And if we say it ended in May 2023, we're now September. So we're looking at 5 months. So 2 years, 5 months later since the show ended, I've probably seen like 6 or 7 episodes of The Flash in that final season. Like, I've never brought myself back and watched the whole season, even though it was a shortened season on top of it. I just completely lost interest in watching my favorite shows. And if we're being honest, The Flash hasn't been good since season 5. Season 6 was just about the worst thing ever written. Season 7, still bad, but much better than season 6. 8 was, nothing flashy, but it is what it was. And season 9, I just never finished it. But other shows I want to watch, like I'm probably one of the biggest The Good Doctor fans there are. I still haven't watched the last season of The Good Doctor. and Chicago Med, and good shows like that. I haven't even gone back and watched those shows because I've lost my interest in watching movies and TV shows. I could be laid out all day, watch movies all day, but today, like I prefer the innocence of shorter YouTube videos. I'd rather watch that 20-minute YouTube video or that 40-minute YouTube video than some random TV show for 40 minutes. But anything that doesn't pop up on like Hulu, Netflix, etc. I mean, are they gonna pop up on the app from the actual cable company? I don't know. Probably not, because I haven't seen any of that stuff. Otherwise, I probably would have jumped back into it. Yeah, I'm still mad that they lied to me about baseball. When I talked to the representative from AT&T, I'm like, one of my most specific questions: will this have the baseball package included? Straight up, yes. Nothing about, oh, you have to buy that separately or anything like that. No, just straight up, yes. You can watch Cubs games uh, anytime. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe this has the Marquee Network, or maybe it has WGN if they're still playing on WGN. I don't think so, because the Cubs nowadays are cheap as hell, and they got to monetize everything. But nope, no access. All right, popping his cherry on live stream. That's funny. All right, where did I leave off? Damn. I watch NXT on the CW every Tuesday. They put that on there. I remember back in like the early 2000s, I want to say, when I think Monday Night Raw or something was on like I was on like UPN. And UPN was like so odd with the sort of streaming services or sort of product that they put on their channel. Maybe it wasn't Monday Night Raw, but it was definitely some kind of wrestling content. Like when you think UPN, you think Moesha. I mean, that's obviously like the first thing that pops in my head. I think not Lizzie McGuire, but who was that other one from like one of those Disney shows that turned out to be like some kind of like detective or something. It was supposed to be like a huge hit on UPN, but I didn't really watch UPN. Now around 2001, 2002, when Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Roswell, when they moved from the WB to UPN, I watched that. There was like this ghost show that aired around the same time that I watched on UPN, but I mean that's essentially it. Or when I put wrestling on the Sci-Fi Channel, like what the hell does wrestling have to do with sci-fi? But they had to cancel their Stargate SG-1 and other great sci-fi shows so that they could have room for their professional wrestling. What a joke. Oh, there's a little bit of juice left in there, and that stuff is terrible. I forgot I wasn't going to eat those damn cherries. They're nasty as hell. Paul Orndorff as the LGN I got. Not too bad. I swear to God, that's got to be one of like the most customizable LJNs ever, though. I got Rick Rude and Paul Orndorff. I'm pretty sure I got Ultimate Warrior almost. Maybe. I got Rick Rude, I got Warlord, and I'm pretty sure I got at least one or two more figures with that pose. Not to mention the three separate Mark Hackenberg, Paul Orndorff customs. So, like I said, probably the most customizable figure ever. I don't want MOC because I want to be able to to hold it. Yeah, I mean that's why I pretty much started with the loose collections. I mean, one, I want to be able to see the whole figure. When it's MOC and you're not opening it, guess what? You're not turning it around to see the graphics and designs and details on the back of the figures, right? So I want it for that purpose. Also, I always get two figures, or I try to get two figures when I can actually afford it, so that when I'm doing my reviews, all right, here was what the figure looks like on package. Bam, front, back, and then now here it is loose. So now you can actually see all the intricate details on the figure and whatnot. Does it have a strong, play pose? Arms work? Are they nice and tight? Are the wrists tight? Do they spin? Stuff like that. So it gives you the opportunity to do a more thorough review video. So that's why I always buy two of them. But I can't keep that up forever. Eventually, the funds are going to run out. Eventually, I'm going to have to unretire and go back into the workforce. I'm like, man, I like my retirement. The whole point of working my ass off and being in this danger zone for a good chunk of my youth was so that I could retire early. And do I want to give that up? I mean, money I make on eBay and Mercari, I mean, it's minimal. If I was making at least $1,000 a month, at least in one account, that would be something. Even a meager $1,000 to me would not be meager. That would be like a world of difference. But I really don't make that many sales. Luckily, I've made a few more than normal this past week. A few of them actually on Facebook, so that really helped me out a lot because those 3 sales I made earned me about $425, something like that. I sold a lot of 18 Hasbro figures on a marketplace. I kind of value them closer to $500, but I've had them up on eBay and Mercari forever. I've had them up on Facebook Marketplace forever, and no buyers. And this was a huge sale for me, so I'll take the $375 from that. Alrighty, Fly just hitting here, chilling. Hey, what's happening, Rick? All right. Jake watching Freeze, got old wrestling in the background. I'm all out of alcohol, man. Like, I still got this big old bottle here, but like, I don't know if I want to pop that in again. Last time it burnt the hell out of my nose and throat, man. Like, strong, massively strong. And I think if I take another shot of that, we're at what 37 minutes right now. If I take another shot of that right now, maybe I take the stream to an hour, but at that point, I'd be like out of it, like completely. So, alrighty. Are you going to buy up all of the Latunis? I love the feel of my 3 machos and excited to compare it to the LJ and Warndorf. Eventually, yes. Like right now, he's got a couple figures up. The Toon Superstars, which are the equivalent of like the Hulk Hogan Rock and Roll Wrestling cartoon. Very similar, I guess. Very similar build, right? So they had Ric Flair, two molds, and they had Macho Man. And I do want to get that. They swapped them out for the 5.5 inch for the 8 inch, so that's more on par with the original LJN run. But I haven't bought those. I think everything else has already been paid for. Like there's the 3 sets of Hasbro style Andres that I'm waiting on. I think we're still waiting on Inoki. We're still waiting on the Ric Flair. I could have sworn I bought or pre-ordered that Ric Flair. And you know what? I probably did pre-order Ric Flair. It's probably Andre the Giant. I think that's what I'm thinking of. So Andre the Giant with his Hulk Hogan signing, I think that was for like WrestleMania 3. And he's in the suit and everything. So that Andre, I probably will pre-order. I'm going to have to. I like to get 2 of everything, but prices are getting up there, right? So, and I have other household responsibilities that I have to pay into. So, and if the stupid pool deck keeps going up and up in price. I swear to God, it started off like 15 grand and somehow ended up at like 75 grand. Like every time I talk to, hey, you want to have this done, you want to have that done, you want not just this side, but you want the entire thing enclosed. I'm like, damn. My house better be worth $1 million after this. it won't be that high, but I'm willing to take some kind of increase. Gotta reach out to somebody to kind of once everything is said and done. Gotta reach out to somebody to reappraise the house. So because that pool and deck, it has to add some kind of additional value. Uh, new water heater and furnace, that's got to add value to the house. It's not because that stuff's not as old as anymore. Redid the outdoor patio deck. I mean, that's got to add more value. Adding all those recessed lights into the basement and garage. I mean, that's got the storage room. That's got to add value, right? All those cabinets I put up, the redoing the bedroom closets. I mean, all those cabinets they got to add value, right? So, I mean, I would say if my house hasn't climbed an additional 120, $150,000, then I think that's, I don't say a waste because we're gonna live here forever. So, but if we ever had to move or whatnot, it'd be nice to get what I think is the value for the home with all of these improvements, right? So, yeah, I'm gonna have to have someone come in and reevaluate the house, and hopefully it'll go up in price. I keep putting all the tuning figures in my cart, but can't quite check out. I think it's been like that. I know there's a couple of figures from Latuni that I don't have loose. Like I have all of them carded, but I just haven't gotten the loose figures. And sometimes, like the goal is always to buy two figures at once, but sometimes you're kind of looking around and looking at where your finances lie, and it's like, man, I just can't do it. Like I might want to get one for the collection, but I don't know if I could get two. Right now, I may not be able to get that Andre figure when he comes out. I may not buy the Toonie Superstars when they come out. I'm hoping that when they do release that, they're still going to be available in stores, and they're not going to be sold out. Of course, maybe I could pick them up then. So, who wants to get banned? I got the wrench. Oh man, I'm at work on a smoke break. Do what you want. Who wants to get banned? All right, let's try it again. Oh man. Wow. It keeps burning my eyes. Like it starts, you first taste it like right in the top of your mouth. And it goes up to your nose, and then it burns your eyes. And then kind of like a mushroom cloud. Once it raises straight up, it kind of seeps right back down and it ends up in your throat, man. What I'm telling you guys, Woodenville straight bourbon whiskey. This 115 proof, guys. You guys get an opportunity, buy that. That is good stuff. That will literally have you. That will literally have your head in a bucket after about 3 shots. By the 5th shot, if you're still taking it, you're probably dead. That stuff is strong as hell. Oh god, man. Ugh, terrible. I work from home. I drove my car F. I drove my car F. I drove your car on F. Today, for the first time in a week, I'm bad at keeping up with TV. I tend to rewatch other shows instead. Yeah, my wife, she does that. Like, she will rewatch the same exact shows over and over again. It drives me nuts. I can't even tell you how many times we have seen not just particular episodes or particular seasons, but literally the entire series of F is for Family on Netflix. or how many times she has sat down and watched Rick and Morty. Not particular episodes, but like she'll sit there, play out season one, episode one, let it play straight through. A lot of times she'll be gaming, be on her laptop and be watching like be playing World of Warcraft, and she'll just have that going on in the background. But I'm like, dude, man, this, can I come in here? Can I like sit down? Can I watch YouTube or something? Sometimes when she's on her game, she'll throw on her headphones. That way, my YouTube video. I watch a lot of oh man, what's that guy's name? Damn. Well, there's actually a few dudes that make these videos about Nova Online, who's just this very weird kid that's on TikTok. They keep calling him a predator. I don't know if he is or not, but he does weird crap over and over again. He's just a strange kid. That's all I'm gonna say. And my wife is like, "What's your obsession with this?" I'm like, "No obsession, my dude. This stuff keeps coming up on my feed. It looks interesting, like it's got a catchy title, so I click on it and I see what's happening. So when I hear about guys like was it Tectonic? I think his name was something Tech. I don't know. Uh, Hassan would be another one, and Frogan. Oh my God, she needs to slap the shit out of herself. Uh, but yeah, I don't know about these people. Like I only learn about them because I watch channels like Sensitive Society or August the Duck or like um, Pegasus, and they're always making videos on these guys. But I don't know who he's supposed to be otherwise. Like we talk about Ethan Klein, I'm like I don't watch. I'm not on Twitch. I don't stream out. I don't know what the hell that's all about, right? But so there's all these YouTube names and these TikTok names, Twitch streamers, whatever, that are very popular. But I would never in a million years know who they are because like that's not what I watch. That's not what I'm into. But the commentary channels that I do watch, they talk about them all the time. So, all right. So that's generally why I will probably spend more time watching YouTube than regular TV because regular TV has just lost its interest for me. Maybe at some point in my life I'll go back and rewatch this stuff, but I don't know where I even left off. So it's like I don't want to watch something I've already seen. So let's say season 8 of Chicago Med was the last season I watched. Well, I don't remember watching season 8, so I'll probably start at season 8 and basically watch it for a second time. And I don't want to do that. I hate doing that. I don't enjoy watching something I've already seen. Now, if it's something like Howard the Duck, I freaking love that movie, right? So like every 10 years or so, I'll pop in VHS or turn on like HBO Max or something, and I'll watch Howard the Duck because that was childhood for me. That was a 1980s movie. That's one of my oldest and most beloved movies ever. Okay, so it may not get the sort of recommendation that Spider-Man and Iron Man and all these other movies are getting, but it was fantastic. All right. I've seen House so many times. That is another perfect show. That's House MD's got to be probably a top 10 best show ever. And Hugh Laurie, I mean, he did such a fantastic job with that show. Just one of the most unbelievable actors. So, all right. Why do I go so far down? I barely hit the button. I've seen House so many times. Yeah, Good Doctor. I mean, I got to get back into that show. It's probably one of my top 10 favorite shows ever. Most enjoyable shows to watch ever. Like, there are certain series for me, like Good Doctor was one. 911 probably could have been on list, maybe. What was the other firefighter one? Not Chicago Fire, but that's, a fantastic one as well. Good Doctor, New Amsterdam were on that list. I mean, those are a couple of shows that like I would watch immediately. But then there are shows like The Walking Dead. Obsessive show. That's like one of the very few shows in my life that I actually watched, as an adult. One of the very few shows that I actually watched the time that it aired. Like I didn't sit there and go watch it the next day on DVR or a week later on DVR, what have you. It was something I had to watch the same day. But after like season 6 or so, like around season 7, the show just went downhill so bad that it was not enjoyment to watch that series. Even my wife gave up on watching it. So when I had to watch those shows, like I finally finished the series like on deployment when you got nothing else to do. But The Walking Dead would have gone down as one of the top 10 greatest series ever constructed. And by the time the show ended, I would argue that Walking Dead is probably in the top 30, top 50 because the final seasons just ruined the show for me. The Flash, I feel the same way. The first 5 seasons, probably one of the top 10 greatest series ever constructed. But those last 4 seasons were so bad that it just takes it out of the running from being one of the best ever. And maybe it's like somewhere in the top 100 now. That's how bad it's fallen off. So I just don't enjoy watching movies and shows the way I used to. Starting a new show can be like starting a new relationship, all exciting and new and great, and then yeah, good way of looking at it too. My wife has for the last couple of weeks or last few weeks. My wife and I've been watching a lot of 60 Days In. We watched season 7. We went back to season 6. Then we tried watching season 8. Got through like an episode or two, and then like Netflix or Hulu, whoever, removed season 8 from the service. Like what the hell? Watched season 9, which was just terrible. Went back and watched seasons 1 and 2, which I'm positive we saw before. So season 1 and 2 were really good. Season 3 was so freaking boring. Like I could not engage or feel strongly about any of the participants in season 3. Season 3 to me was just absolutely horrendous. We're in the middle of or towards the end of season 4 right now, and it's a little bit better of a show. But I mean, it's 60 Days In. It's a fantastic series. It is. But when you're sitting there and you're binge watching all of these shows, nonstop almost. I mean, yeah, we've had like Rick and Morty, the new season. We kind of stop and watch that sometimes. We'll stop and we'll watch Wednesday, or we'll stop and we'll watch the new season of Dexter or something. So there's other stuff mixed in there, but there are a lot of series that she's watched that she just basically watched straight through. Like she watched Lost straight through, for example. Uh, she's watched F is for Family straight through multiple times. Rick and Morty straight through multiple times. She watched Full House straight through. Then she went and watched Fuller House straight through. Just all of these different TV series. I'm like, I don't want to keep watching. Like, I want to be active. I want to get up. I want to move around. I want to do something. I don't want to be sitting on the couch all day long watching these random TV shows, especially a lot of them that I've seen before. So that kind of, that kind of sucks when you want to have that family time, but really don't have any interest in what they're watching. So I might be on my cell phone looking at YouTube or looking at like eBay or something, see if something sold or if somebody had a question. And of course, she's mad at me because I'm not engaging in the show with her. I'm on my phone, but I mean, it's like, what do you want from me at that point, right? Because I've already seen this and it doesn't really hold any interest for me. I mean, maybe when I first watched it, I loved it, but I don't want to rewatch it. Maybe it was 20, 30 years from now. I could go back and watch Lost, but given the fact that I just finished watching the entire series probably 7, 8 years ago, to me, it's still way too early to go back and watch that again. Quit watching TV movies, but I'm looking forward to Toxic Avenger and hope He-Man is done good. They are making a Toxic Avenger. Damn, dude, I forgot about that. That's not Peter Dinklage in the lead role, is it? Because they're going to need a short guy for that movie too. But I could have sworn I remember seeing Peter Dinklage attached to that movie. Maybe it was just AI generated or something. But that would be fun as hell. And listen to podcasts. I'm late to the podcasting. Alien Earth looks good. Alien Earth. I don't know if I've seen that. SmackDown on UPN. Yeah, I knew some wrestling was on UPN. I just don't remember which one. Just shows you how much time I spent watching UPN, right? And of course, when they merged UPN and the WB together to become the CW, to me, the WB will always be the greatest network ever, with the greatest lineup of shows ever, because the CW is nothing more than 95% of the CW shows coming over. Yeah, CW had a lot of success. In my eyes, it was successful with a lot of brilliant TV shows that came from it. But when you look at the ratings, and let's say NBC has this show with 10 million viewers an episode, and then you look at the CW with 700,000 viewers an episode, yeah, you're gonna think, well, this show is butchering this other show, and that this show gets no views, let's cancel it. But in reality, you also got to focus on who has access to that particular network. I don't know if I talked about this before. I assume I did. A friend and I, back in high school, back in sophomore year, he used to always brag about Friends. Oh, Friends gets 25 million viewers an episode. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, my favorite show ever. He was like, oh, Buffy only gets 1 million viewers an episode. So 25 million compared to 1 million. Based on viewer count, that's his definition of what's a better show, not necessarily the content itself. I'm like, dude, I could be in the caves, deep caves of Afghanistan and have access to NBC. NBC is available on every TV throughout the entire planet. You're in China, you're in India, guess what? You have access to NBC. So if there's 7 or 8 billion people on the planet, let's say 2002, 2000, yeah, let's say 2002, let's say there were 6 billion. Okay, fine. 25 million out of 6 billion people watch Friends. But the WB is regional. It's definitely in Illinois. It might be found in Wisconsin, maybe Missouri, maybe Minnesota. I don't know, but it's regional. Maybe at most 25 million people have access to the WB. 25 out of, let's see, that's times 4, times 10, that's 40, times 6 million people, or 6 billion. So times that by 6. So that's what, 240, 200. So 1 in 240 people watch Friends, where 1 in 25 people watch Buffy. That's how I looked at it. And I'm like, dude, even your own statement as far as this show is a better show because it gets more viewers doesn't make sense. Oh God, I forgot those were the bad cherries. Oh, that is nasty. Like I said, it's not like it was just cherries just swimming in freaking moonshine. It's like all the juice inside the cherry. It's no cherry juice. It's just moonshine. Horrible. All right, let's see what we got here. Seen all those. Think I've read BBA stuff. Blood Yell, seen that one. Alien Earth, seen that one. SmackDown, yep. Such a nerd. When you say UPN, I think of User Principal Day. I don't even remember what UPN even stood for, man. Shoot, what was UPN? That's gonna bother me now. I actually got to look that up because it's been like 23 years, something like that, since the UPN existed. User principal name. No, that's not it. UPN TV name. United Paramount Network. Huh. So it launched in January of 95. That's crazy. So it did not last long at all. I mean, I watched a few things, I'm sure, on UPN here and there over the years, but like I said, in the early 2000s, when Buffy and Roswell moved over, I mean, I watched that. That was pretty much what got my interest in that station, and I think that's the whole point of why they acquired those two shows is because they thought, hey, these were two hit series on the WB. We bring them over to our network. We're gonna bring their fans over. Maybe their fans watch other shows that we have on the network. But I think viewer wise, I think Buffy probably did its worst in those last two seasons. To me, Buffy will always be a WB series. Even if that show ran on UPN for the next 10 years, I still would have classified it as a WB series, regardless. Any good tips on buying LJN loose but in good shape? Um, be careful that what you're buying is actually original paint. So there's a guy I buy from all the time, right? I did buy from all the time, and he would actually be one of my most reputable sellers. But a friend of mine, he basically made a point that hey, he bought from him. He bought from him before, and uh, he made the assessment that he thinks that this guy is repainting his figures. And I'm not going to call the seller out by name because like I said, I bought from him a million times. One of my favorite sellers ever. But if he is repainting them, that's excellent work because I bought a ton of figures from him and they just look crisp to me. When you think about like all these figures from the 80s, they had to be played with, right? So like when you're a seller and you're selling a ton of LJN figures week after week after week, and they're all in immaculate condition. I mean, are they really, top grade related figures? Minimal, if any, paint loss whatsoever, or is somebody repainting these figures to make them look brand new? Several months ago, I sent probably 4 dozen, maybe 3 dozen LJNs to a friend who does a lot of my customization, and I wanted him to bring those figures back to life. They are all dirty, scratched up, paint loss. I want him to repaint them to make them look brand spanking new. But at least when the time comes, when I get those figures back and I list them for resale, at least I'm going to put in the notes or the description, the title, hey, touch up. That way people know that the figure's been repainted. But try, if you're going to spend a lot of money, I say try get the big dollar figures off right off top of the bat, because you can always buy the more common figures on a consistent basis in complete bundles. So I mean, do you want to go out and spend $80 for a Series 1 Andre the Giant because he's got no paint loss on his trunks or boots, no paint loss in his afro? On this particular seller, yeah, I've seen him sell for $90+, and I'm like, that's insane, because I always have LJ and Andre the Giant Series 1 figures available, and I usually sell them for like $15 or $20. So when I see these go on auction and sell for $75, $95, I'm like, maybe I'm screwing myself over. Maybe I should just put. I mean, they're not the most best paint in the world. I mean, it has paint loss, so maybe that's why. But to me, with those particular figures, I don't think of them as $15 to $20 figure. I think they're worth more, but I'm looking at it from a financial point, resale point, all that. And yeah, as a fan of the figures, like Andre Series One, Hulk Hogan Series One, I think Nikolai Volkov is one of the best LJNs. I think he's easily a top 20 best figure. You could have a practically mint Nikolai Volkov, and that figure would probably go for around $10 or less. And that's crazy to think about that. But just like any seller, I always say go for the sellers that don't have a lot of feedback or might be new to selling, because they're not going to have as many followers, which means you have less of an opportunity where someone else is going to jump in and outbid you or bid you up. So if you're following this guy and he's got 1,000 followers, or you're following this guy that has 35 followers, you're going to have a better opportunity of getting that item for a better price. So that's why I say buy from new buyers when you can. But that's pretty much any product, not necessarily just relegated to LJNs. The channel, my Stone Cold Bella channel. Yeah, man, I seen that, bud, and I'm glad, Ben, because like that's some crazy stuff. When our friend reached out to me, he was like, "Hey, can you contact Irish, let them know what was going on?" I'm like, "Oh shoot, man, like what's happening now?" But I'm glad you got that figured out, buddy, man. That's some straight up bullshit to have someone that you trust come online and play games like that. So, I think you're doing the right thing by limiting your videos to yourself only, so that no one else can go on there and like mess around. Going back to 115 proof. Man, am I that far behind? That was like 20 minutes ago. Actually, I've lost count of time, so I don't know when that was. Just don't tell your property tax assessor if you get your house reappraised. Ah, shoot, I didn't even think about that. Is that it? Is that a major issue? Oh, you know what? Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? Because if your house goes from like valued at 330 to valued at like 500, yeah, it's shit. See my language, but that makes a lot of sense. I'm not a real collector. I just bought one of each and opened them. I had to buy 2 of the transparent John Cena's, but that was so I could give one to my nephew who was a huge Cena fan. That's pretty badass. I like that. Oh man. Woodinville, Washington. It doesn't say Washington. It just says Woodinville up here. So it just says straight bourbon whiskey. And obviously this stuff's it's got to be coming out of the barrels here in Kentucky somewhere. But rewatching TV is like comfort food. It can be. Alien Earth has been a little disappointing to me so far. It's like Blade Runner with aliens in the background. Oh man, that's a good review. I like that. There was a alien show from the 90s. I started watching when I was in Afghanistan in 2019. I think it was called Alien Nation. Yeah, I think it had like a season or two, maybe just one season. And for 22 episodes, that was such a fun freaking like I didn't watch that back in the day, but like the first time I ever watched it was in 2019 because a friend had recommended it. And when I came home from Afghanistan that year, I had my wife while I was deployed download a couple of movies that she could find of Alien Nation, and I've had those for probably 6 years, and I never watched those downloads. And I don't even remember what the series was even about anymore. So like I gotta go back and watch that now. And maybe I'll be inspired to watch the movie or movies. Cause I heard it had like 2 or 3 movies. Irish, yes, sir. Thanks so much, buddy. All right. I wouldn't mind repainted LGNs as long as they're not charging mint prices And I think a lot of time that's exactly what's happening. Like the first Big John stud I bought it on auction. I probably paid like, let's say $30. That was probably like a purchase price. And this is what I'm talking about, especially Series 1 figures. Like when you're buying this stuff, and I say it all the time, a lot of us say it. When you're buying something, you're paying a fortune. When you're selling something, you're getting nothing back in return. My first LJN of Big John stud, I paid $30 on auction for it. Maybe $27, I don't know. But with shipping and taxes, I mean, maybe it came out to like 35, $40, I don't remember. But the point is, Big John stud, to me, if I were to sell a Big John stud, I'd probably ask like $10 or $15. It may not be as spot on, paint wise, it's beautiful, but to me, Big John stud is still a nice, big, heavy, bulky figure. When I look at King Kong Bundy, I generally sell him for like $8 to $12. But to me, he's got that weight, he's got that size, that bulk to it. That should always be a $30. He could be nothing but rubber. The black boots, the black singlet can all 100% be completely faded off. And that should still be a $30 figure just as is. But when I sell King Kong Bundy, like I get like $8 to $12 for it. And then you think about selling fees. So let's say you sold it for $10. Okay, you earn maybe $6.50, $7 on that figure. How much money did I pay purchasing said loose figure prior? $20, $25. So you never want to. One thing in business, you never want to take a loss. That's why I always try to list things for just a shade higher, so I can at the very least ensure that I don't take a loss. If I buy it for $25 all in and it sells for $25, after I get $25 after purchase price, I didn't make any money on the sale, but at least I didn't lose any money that I paid into it. So that to me is always very important. One of the newer LJN style Cody's, you get both of them. I get both of them in punk, but the rubber is stiffer than the Latunis. Yeah, I did get both the red and blue pants of Cody Rhodes, and his fighting pose is unbelievable. At 7 inches, that's kind of sucks. If he was a little bit taller, maybe a little bit thicker around the waist, that would be a perfect LJN, perfect representation of LJN. I also have a not no, it wasn't CM Punk. Who was the other guy? Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. His hands are like straight up like Macho Man, and he's got like the Crow type of look on his face. Like half his face is white with like black designs. Darby Allen, thank you. Yeah, like I was struggling to come up with that name. I have that guy, so I buy a couple of those, and that way I have both um, loose and carded figures available. But I never got CM Punk, but that is one of them I want to add to the collection whenever I can. Yeah, I never get anything from Walmart, man. Like I stopped even attempting to walk around. Like if my wife and I go to Walmart and we're doing grocery shopping, occasionally I might stop over at Toyota just to see what kind of wrestling figures they have. They don't ever have anything I want, anything that interests me. And really, the Walmart exclusives, wrestling superstars. I mean, that's really what I want. But the only thing I've ever seen at my Walmart, I probably seen $1 Million Man way back when. I know I've seen Ultimate Warrior, maybe Ric Flair. So yeah, they probably have like 50 plus superstars, and there's probably 3, maybe 5 figures, maybe Papa Shango at some point, maybe I don't know, but there's like maybe 3 to 5 figures that I've ever seen at my local Walmart. So I'm like, and where are you buying this stuff? You're buying them off eBay. Walmart exclusive, they should be selling for what, $20 a piece? You buy them on eBay, you're having to pay at least $50 a piece for them. So I'm like, I like these figures a lot, but I don't like them at $50 plus. Right now, where I'm currently at, If I'm missing like a figure or two from that particular line, maybe I'll go buy that figure just to complete that series. But I mean, moving forward, I'm not really interested in buying any of this stuff. I would love to have the Iron Sheik figure, and I think there's another variant of Razor Ramon I'm missing. But come on, $70, $100 for this stuff. Great Muta, I think, is another one. Jake Roberts, I really want, but at those prices, I mean, I'm not paying $40, $50 for this stuff. I mean, if it's $25 on eBay with free shipping, yeah, I'll jump in on those. But at this point, I'm pretty much done with collecting those. Space is obviously an issue, but I mean, I start moving this up out to the garage where I'm hanging them up on pegboards, right? So that shouldn't be really a problem.
I need your help in half an hour for the babies. Just let me know.
11 o'clock.
Thank you.
All right. So I think I got about 30 more minutes, and then I got to help the babies or help feed the babies. Hopefully in a couple weeks, they'll be off formula and onto regular cat food. So we'll see what happens with that. One of those newer LJN style Cody's, you get both of them. I did get both of them, and Punk. Seeing that one, it doesn't really look like Cody as much, though. I thought they did a decent job. I mean, I'm thinking about it as more of like a 1980s, cartoonish type look. So I think in that respect that it looks pretty decent. I only have Punk because I'm a huge fan. His fighting pose on this LJN style is crappy. I forget what was CM Punk. So I know Cody Rhodes kind of had like the arm up, kind of like a Greg Valentine-ish, only not the fist out. I think it's more like so. I think Darby Allin, his arms are straight up. And oh man, CM Punk. I'm trying to remember his pose. I know he's got one of those AEW LJN style figures. I just don't remember his pose though, off the top of my head. Into Walmart, yeah, and that's the thing. I used to like when they first started coming out with like Series 1, Series 2 Walmart exclusives. I was getting them as pre-orders on Walmart. Now let's say I ordered Series 2. I don't know what. Let's say that was March of 2023. I'm guessing the year, I'm guessing the release. I'm just throwing out numbers just for the sake of argument. So I would pre-order all of the figures from Series 2, Series 3, whatever. And I'd wait. I'd wait and I'd wait and I'd wait. It'd be like September. So we're talking 6 months later. It'd be like September. I'd get an email from Walmart. Your order has been canceled. I'm thinking, okay, I ordered these 6 months ago. It's getting close. These figures have got to be released soon. I'm gonna finally get my order. And then I get that email from Walmart like, hey, your order's been canceled. And every single time since then, I don't know if I ever got a pre-order from Walmart through the internet. I always got the emails, your order's been canceled. And if I didn't buy them in the store, which is highly unlikely, 99% chance I got them off eBay or Mercari, but I really don't buy that much off Mercari, so more than likely eBay. And I'm paying eBay prices. And it sucks when you could have picked this guy up, this Undertaker up for $20 or $15 at Walmart, and you end up having to pay like $50 because you're buying it through eBay. $40, $45, somewhere in that neighborhood. Even today, you jump on Walmart.com, and let's say you're looking at that series, what is it, Series 3, Series 4 Undertaker. I don't know when he came out. I don't really pay attention to the superstars like that, but like eBay or Walmart sellers that sell on the Walmart platform, I mean, they're asking like $50 for a freaking Undertaker. Certain figures like Undertaker, like many of the Hulk Hogan's, like Ultimate Warrior and Teddy, Ric Flair, Honky Tonk Man, even. I mean, I kind of feel like those should all be $7 to $12 in value. They're so common. Everyone and their mom has them. They should not be selling for a ridiculous amount of money. $10 figures. So yeah, I haven't tried to order anything from Walmart.com for those figures in a long time because it's pointless. If they're just going to keep deleting my or canceling my orders, right? For me, it's space more than money. I'm coming from my Lego habit, so wrestling figures actually. Never had Legos. I mean, I'm pretty sure as a kid probably did. I just didn't collect them. But man, they got like entire Lego stores nowadays, and I thought that was insane. Like I would think of Legos as being like a small boxed item that you would find in a toy aisle. Jesus, but I wouldn't think of them as like Lego having like its own individual store that sells nothing but Legos. I'm like, are they really that valuable? Maybe I got into maybe there's one toy line I should have gotten into collecting that I never did. I just don't have the nostalgia for Legos, so I guess it would be easier for me to sell that. Both arms down on his side, like most of the major bendies. Okay. Yeah, that's stupid as hell. I've never pre-ordered figs from Walmart, but all I hear are complaints, cancellations. That, yeah, 100%, man. And I'm hearing that people are on Facebook are having the same issues with Target canceling their LJ and Superstars, but I think that's it. And that kind of sucks. I think I got one of each. Maybe I got two of each for those figures. I remember getting multiple Hulk Hogan's. Like I couldn't order Hulk Hogan on my website, and I think my wife ordered a couple Hulk Hogan's from her account. So I got all the figures, and I think my wife got the Hulk Hogan for me. Yeah, so I should have all four of them coming when the time arrives. I think they arrive what October 31st. So I got to help with the babies at 11 o'clock. So we got about 22 minutes. All right. I think I should have enough maybe to last another 20 minutes or so. I pre-ordered 3 of the 4 new LGNs from Target and the Piper's Pit set. Kept missing out on Hogan though. Piper's Pit. They got a Piper's Pit out? I got to keep track of this stuff more often. I mean, I'm supposed to be in the business of the know-how, but man, I find out more info from you guys than I do from actual distributors or whoever. Oh, I can't drink that right now. Oh, God. I'm going to have to put that away before I leave, but maybe I'll wait 5 or 10 minutes because, damn. All right, so one of the big things I wanted to talk about in this video originally was the Maniac Riot Wrestling figures, right? Last week I put up a picture that Sin Bodhi sent me, but I try to blur it out as much as possible. So I wanted it to be a surprise. I don't want people to see what the figures look like. Just kind of get the outline or shape of the figures, kind of have a general idea, but not fully understanding what it looks like, right? And in this video, I was supposed to show off the new figures. I haven't gotten them in yet. So if they arrive next week, yes, we will have a review of what I classify as my prototypes to review in that video. I will talk to BBA afterwards and see where he's at. Maybe we can do a live stream. If that's the case, well, it'll be a few days extra. Maybe like a special live stream on a Wednesday or Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, one of those days, and that way he and I can both have a figure in hand to review. But I'm looking at these designs and that Sin sent over to me, and I'm like, this has got to happen, man. We've got to get these figures released somehow. Because I also talked to Bruce over at Alibaba about the Waddy's soldier figure. And I'm like, hey, I get it. Your requirement is a minimum of 500 pieces. if I do this soldier, can we do 100 of this uniform, 100 of this uniform, 100 of that uniform, etc.? Or does it have to be, one strict color for all 500 pieces? He's like, yeah, we could cut it up into, sections if you want, but it's gonna be a whole lot more per figure. Well, I'm like, dude, well, damn, how much are we talking about? Is it gonna cost me? I don't know what a figure costs, so I'm just gonna throw out numbers just to make it really easy. So if I do 500, BDU colored figures, would that be, let's say $3 a figure? Again, I don't know what they charge. For all I know, they could charge you $50 a figure, $20 a figure. I don't know, but again, I'm trying to simplify things. $3 a figure, or is it going to be if you do 100 of this, 100 of that, 100 of that, they're going to turn out to be $10 a figure? Because at that point, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good amount of profit lost by going with the extra numbers. But at the same time, it kind of gives buyers the opportunity to choose their favorite representation. Maybe they want that DCU camouflage uniform. Maybe they want that BDU woodland camouflage uniform, or maybe they want that blue ACU digital pattern. So, these are going to be carded. They're going to have their own fitted bubble blister pack, right? Its own poster and poster cover, just like original LJNs, just like Latuni. So all of that obviously is going to go into the price of each individual figure, but that's where I kind of come out with that $100 price tag, because as someone who's going to be self-financing, I obviously have to make up for the original cost, and I have to earn something extra so that I can afford to buy the next figure. I think the first couple of figures is basically going to be any profit earned is really not going to be profit, because it's basically paying myself back and it's going into funding the next figure or two. So, but if I could sell 3 or 4 figures at $100 a piece, 500 units per piece, I'm bound to earn something on that. But that means that, hey, maybe I can go the AJ route. Maybe I can start reach out to professional wrestlers and see we can do more than just YouTubers. Maybe we could actually add some actual like indie style wrestlers, like BBA has recommended to me, or something like that, right? And at that point, maybe we can even drop the price from $100 down to $50. I don't have to make all the money in the world on this line. I just have to earn enough to obviously pay myself back and to be able to afford the purchase of a new figure to release. So if I could do all that within the first 2 or 3 releases, and then I could drop the price 50% by the 4th and 5th release, hey, I'm willing to do it, because I think it's also very important to me to have, my viewers or have fans out there who enjoy this type of stuff to have the opportunity to have all of these figures in hand and not have to pay an absolute fortune. But there are certain people out there that pay $130, $140, $150 for certain figures, and they don't even come with blister packs and cards and posters and all that. So, yeah, it's gonna be a heavier price tag right now based on current estimates than what like Latuni is doing. But I'm hoping that eventually I can kind of cut it down. But like I said, it's self funding. That's the big thing. It's the self funding aspect. If it was all pre orders, it'd probably be like $50 to $75 all day. But I'm hearing these numbers. I'm hearing what they're talking about as far as design the figures. They have to send you out the mold. You have to pay for them individual molds, probably 1 or 2, probably more than one if you're doing 500 figures. And the molds themselves are an entire car payment if you get a used car. It's about $6,000. So between 10 and 12,000 for 2 molds. I'm like, and then what are you paying on 500 units? So I know we kind of talk about this each week, but I try my best to kind of keep you guys as updated as humanly possible. The guy Bruce from Alibaba that I've been in contact with, like we were talking like every single day, and over the last week and a half, it's been crickets for the most part. So I'm hoping that he still like he keeps wanting me to do all this extra legwork. I'm like, I'm not a designer. I'm not a 3D printer, so I can only answer so many of his questions. But if they have their own 3D printers, 3D designers, they should be able to handle the business, right? Like one of the big issues is how do you build on the glasses for Jason Up? Do you want some kind of like removable piece? Do you want it like a plastic glasses built onto the figure, or do you want the glasses to actually be built in as part of the figure's design? I'm like, look, I want it built in. I think everyone wants a built-in accessory that they don't want, some kind of like plastic that kind of like hangs a little bit. That's kind of movable, possibly, because you throw these figures down, they drop. That plastic could potentially break. So no, I definitely want like imprinted, built-in glasses on the figure. Then take a whole shot, just a little bit. Mm. All right. I think it's Piper, Orndorff, and Orton with some set materials. Oh, that's pretty badass. That's for the Piper's Pit playset. That's pretty awesome. I gotta look into that. Did you have a live stream on Tuesday this past week? On Thursday this past week? I did not. That was the idea. Kirk and I were supposed to get together and do a live stream, but I don't know, man. I was probably, I don't want to say disturbed, but my wife and I were spending time together, of course, and I blanked on that. I was supposed to download the StreamYard app, and Kirk and I were supposed to do a dual live stream, kind of talk about this moron that kind of scammed him, asking for a refund, and I kind of wanted to do a live stream with him, talk about that, because it's not my story to tell; it's his story, right? And that type of live stream that would have helped other buyers out, other sellers, to know what to look for. So I mean, there were a lot of red flags, and I'm hoping that one day that Kirk and I can do that live stream together, because I think that'd be a really fun thing to talk about. And of course, people could chime in with comments and theories as well. So that's why I'd rather do a live stream than do it as just a regular, eBay video that I would normally put out myself. Now, I think I have all the information I need to put out a self-released episode, but again, it's not my tale to tell. It's his. So that's why I wanted to do it that way. But videos also for being there. Hey, Lance, man, absolutely, buddy. I'm definitely glad that my videos, do something more than just showcase figures. So that's really awesome to hear, man. Really appreciate that support. Live streams are like we're all going to the bar from the comfort of our home seat. Sometimes, man. So where we at? We got about 10 more minutes to go. 10 more minutes, and then I gotta help go feed the babies. I don't know what I have down there. I think I said it. I thought it was like peach or something, but I think next week we're gonna stick with the old Smoky moonshine and kind of use the other bottle that's down there. I remember at one point we had like a bunch of those bottles, but I think we drank them over the last year or two. I don't think it's 2 years. I don't think it's that old. But yeah, we've had them in my display case in my second living room for like ever. And I'm like, you know what? Let's make use out of this stuff finally, because this stuff's just sitting in here. So, I think Bone Breaking Action, he's off work on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Or was it Tuesday? I can't remember. It's Wednesdays and Thursdays or Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I want to do a live stream with him because I want to do, and maybe even add Jason up to that, because I can get both figures in or all the figures in, get them their figures at the same time, jump on StreamYard, try and do a dual live stream, and have those two guys kind of like that way we could sit back and kind of review the figures together. That would be incredibly fun. I think a lot of his viewers would tune in to watch, so we should have a whole lot more engagement, I think. So that would be pretty freaking amazing. Oh, I don't know if anybody is new to the channel that's watching right now, but my buddy Kirk, he recommended doing short videos, and damn, those have done wonders for me. There were times probably last year when I was probably at my peak where I thought I was providing the best videos that my channel's ever provided. But I would go like 2, sometimes even 3 months straight without getting a single new subscriber. And I'm like, man, what can I do different? What can I add to the channel to bring in, new eyes, new viewers? And it really wasn't working. Luckily, I've been doing the same videos this year and bringing a whole lot more, which has been amazing. But those short videos I've been making over the last, week and a half, I probably have about 150 new subs or more since I started doing those short videos on a consistent basis. So to everyone that subscribed, thank you so much. Finally got to the point where I can get monetized on YouTube. So I'm freaking thrilled with that. Some of the guys kind of scared me off. We're like, yeah, man, you're just got to get like 1,000 views per video in order to get even $1 or $2. And I'm like, oh, hell. At that point, I'm probably never going to get monetized. But I hope eventually that it does kind of work out that way. There are a few short videos that got over 1,000 views so far, which is awesome. But it's obviously the live streams. It's the regular videos that are, 10, 20, 30 minutes long. That's the stuff that's, that's really going to get a lot of those ads in there. That's going to pay you more. So, but it's nice to see that you get that email, you're monetized, fill out this information. I'm like, cool. That feels really good. It's taken me about 3.5 years, but I finally hit that mark and so ecstatic. Oh, that's terrible. Whew. Man, I took 2 sips of this, and I'm only about halfway down. It just tells you how difficult it is to drink that. I pretty much had I felt like I had to puke the last couple times I drank a sip of it, so I'm trying to pace myself with that junk. Hey, Lance, thanks, buddy, man. I appreciate it, bud. Always for the viewers, man. All right, so for the foreseeable future, guys, I mean, I really don't have a lot of regular videos that I'm planning right now. So I am pretty much going to stick with short videos for as long as I can. The idea is once I stop with the, Holy Grail items that I have or items that I feel like are regular grails, for me personally, I'm probably going to start taking a look at all the figures that I have that are signed. So each video will be a new autograph, and maybe that'll take me about 5 to 10 videos, depending on how many autographs I have. I don't have too many, but I have enough, I think. And if I can't think of any other, special 1 to 3 minute shorts after that, that might be the end of the shorts for a while. But as far as regular videos, I mean, there's a couple things I want to talk about. Karen's acting a fool on the internet, of course. This one chick that really irritated the crap out of me, thinking that she actually did something. And I'll probably talk, if I do make that video, I'll talk more about it. But this chick is all like, if you have a credit card or if you got a loan for a house or a car, you've asked for a handout. I looked at her, I'm like, somebody slapped the not out of this chick because she clearly has no freaking clue what the hell she's talking about. First off, if you buy yourself a $300,000 house, and you get that loan from the bank for 300K. It takes you 30 years to pay off that house. You're paying over $900,000 on that $300,000 loan. So no, it is not the same as getting a handout. And this chick is so batshit stupid that she was actually smiling all giddy that she actually accomplished something. I'm like, I look at videos like that. That's generally I don't make those type of videos. That's not something that my channel is known for. But from time to time, I will talk. When I see stupid videos like that, it gets under my skin way too much. I'm like, you know what? I got to say something about this particular topic. So that might be a video I might make sometime this week. There's other videos, obviously. I gotta start paying more attention to Instagram. Ever since I created an Instagram account a few weeks ago, the whole idea is look at Instagram and try and find videos and ideas from there. But I really haven't spent a lot of time. Like I'll post something on eBay on eBay. I'll post something on YouTube, and then I'll repost that same thing on Facebook, and then I'll take it and I'll repost that same thing on Instagram. So that's really the only time I jump on Instagram is for that. But otherwise, we're pretty much gonna do just regular shorts and not much else. If new figures come in, I'll do reviews on that, but I really don't have a lot of plans. When the deck is complete, I'll incorporate all of these clips, all these different videos I made into one clip, one video, so you guys can see where the pool was from the beginning and what it looks like after the deck and everything's been built. But the deck keeps getting pushed back. Like they were supposed to work on Thursday, right? The contractors, but it rained Wednesday night, so they weren't able to do anything with the mud and the concrete and everything. So who knows if they're gonna start work this week? But hopefully by Monday they can begin work, and maybe with the next couple of weeks it can be finished. But that's where I'm at with that update. Could you do a rehaul of the Hasbros? We love LGN, but we need to be informed with Hasbros. Yeah, man. A couple of years ago, I did my first Hasbro review videos, and this last time, about 8 months ago or so, when I did the Hasbros again, I put all of Series 1 in one video, all of Series 2 in one video, Series 3 all in one video, right? So they were all going like hour and a half long Tuesday shows, and it's probably going to be a while before I do another Hasbro review, given the fact that the Tuesday shows literally just ended. But I mean, that could definitely be on the docket. But like I said, I want to kind of spread that stuff apart. So it might be another year or so before I do that review again. But I just don't think it's going to be as in depth as my most recent Tuesday shows when I talked about all the Hasbros, talked about all the LJNs and the Remcos and the Galoob, etc. But those Tuesday shows, I miss doing those Tuesday shows, knowing exactly what's going to air that Tuesday and knowing that was going to be a fun video. But after Galoob, that was pretty much it. I mean, I could have done original San Francisco, but I mean, I think Hasbro, LJN, Remco, and Galoob are really the big four. So when it comes to wrestling lines, so I really wanted to at least hit those up. Exactly. A loan being a handout. I laughed my ass off at that. Our banking system would collapse without those handouts. I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's said perfectly. So this entire time, this girl, she's like, got a big old smile. She's all happy, all giddy, thinking like she accomplished something. Like she said something important. I'm like, dude, you just look like a freaking idiot. But that's a discussion for a later time, hopefully. And we are past 11 o'clock, guys. So I think I'm gonna have to shut down this live stream. But I do want to hit up these last questions before anything. Time for the babies. Yep. Kitty portion of the show. I played my cousin's entire line. My favorite play match was Yoko versus Undertaker. Series 4, Bret Hart and The Undertaker. I mean, they obviously came later on in play, but I would say that those are my two most utilized figures. Hasbro, British Bulldog, Undertaker, and Bret Hart from Series 4. That on top of like Sid Vicious Galoob, obviously, was a very played with figure. And non wrestling figures like your Panthro from Thundercats with the moving arms, Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, the Marvel Bendable Incredible Hulk. So even non wrestling figures got a ton of play during childhood. Sometimes you just kind of had to use what you had available to you, right? So if I do a original San Francisco, it might be another week or two out because I don't have anything planned for this Tuesday, but I don't know, man. Like I've only got like the first 4 or 5 series complete for original San Francisco. Once they kind of got away from the big figures, I started miniaturizing them. I have a few of them, but not a lot. So once it gets to like 95, 96 until like the end of the 90s, whatever, I kind of don't collect those or have any interest whatsoever of those smaller figures. Fractional reserve banking. That is too darn funny. All right, guys. I just learned this week that Original Fan was a continuation of the Galoob figs. Correct. David Galoob and family own Original San Francisco, and that's why Galoob and Original San Francisco basically have like the same fighting poses. Why you pretty much have a lot of the same characters to an extent. Uh, well, you got a bunch of repeats of Sting. You got yourself a bunch of Ric Flairs, but you also got guys that were popular in the early '90s that didn't have figures, like Nasty Boys and Harlem Heat. But when they created Original San Francisco, they made them look like LJNs. They were still going off the LJN/Galoob fighting pose, and you're still utilizing the exact same characters over and over again. Galoob, Sid Vicious, Barry Windham, Brian Pillman, Sting, etc. Right? So you have all these figures that you got from Series 1 basically re-released in Series 2, and a lot of them, Lex Luger, etc., just got repaints. And you had threw in a couple additional figures like another Sting, another Luger, Freebirds, etc. But we got to original San Francisco. What do? They just recycle the exact same characters over and over and over again. Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Sting, Harlem Heat, Nasty Boys. Got several figures, usually several color variants on both single and dual card in each series. So this is crazy, man. Like I love original San Francisco. I love their card backs. I love the design of the figures. Got that nice LJN style to it. That's why I classify original San Francisco being my number 3 favorite line. But I think companies like maybe Remco might be maybe jumping up there. I was never a fan of Remco beforehand, but as a collector, yeah, Remco's have definitely jumped up to be one of my favorite collectibles. Hasbro Yoko, it makes the same sound as a live event. That is freaking fantastic. Watching a Harlem Heat auction on eBay now. Then pivoted to ECW when they lost. Yeah. Harlem Heat. If you get the purple version, that's a good variant to have. The black Harlem Heat are the most common. Purple is definitely more valuable. The red is even more valuable than that. And if you can find the blue singlet Harlem Heat, even loose, I kind of feel like the loose Harlem Heat blue should go for like close to $100, $150. That's, Harlem Heat in red. I think those are good $75, $100 figures. And we're talking loose. We're not even talking carded. Black Harlem Heat can probably go for $20 for the pair. Purple, probably $30 to $40 for the pair, depending on condition. Bagino's on card. Those are all $100+ regardless. Maybe you got the 2-pack of Harlem Heat in black for like $75 to $90, but blue Harlem Heat, I think I paid like $250 or $350 for the blue Harlem Heat on dual card. That just shows you how rare and expensive those suckers are. So got some top rope collectibles on pre-orders to scratch the gloob figure itch. I mean, I had my yes, Brainy, I see you. All right, guys. The wife is enjoying the content, but she needs the help with the baby. So I'm not going to ask anybody to wait for me and log in for a fourth time. So we got 3 videos today, man. So this last one went almost 2 hours. So this was fantastic. So guys, I am going to log off here. Shoot, hopefully next week we'll have an absolute tonnage to talk about, and hopefully those figures that Symbody created will come in. So, and we'll might talk more about the additional live streams added to the channel potentially, and maybe even some additional videos that could be coming. Tuesday shows, will they come back with the original San Francisco? I'm hoping. I like that series a lot, so we'll see what happens. But AL, man, I appreciate it, bud. But like I said, man, I think 3 live streams and roughly 3 hours plus videos should be good for the day. So I could probably handle some more, but it's only a matter of time before that 115 kicks in. So I'm out for now, guys. Everybody that tuned in today, thank you so much. Until next time, guys. Oh, guys. Sorry, one last thing. If you haven't found me on Facebook or whatever, send me a message, a friend request on Facebook if you want. That way we can always talk, off camera, whatever. Send messages, phone calls, whatever. I don't mind hearing from you guys. Just look me up. That'd be so freaking awesome. Hey, Alan, you too, buddy, man. I wanted to talk baseball tonight, but maybe next week. Take care, everybody.